Most people who travel through northeastern Pennsylvania see the name Schuylkill on the road signs, maps, and official documents. It is a name that feels familiar to locals, yet at the same time, it remains strangely obscure. Few stop to ask what it actually means or where it comes from. The story of Schuylkill County begins not with the county itself, but with the river that gave it its name, the Schuylkill River. Flowing quietly through the Pennsylvania landscape, the river appears unremarkable at first glance, but its name reveals a deeper history, one rooted in exploration, language, and cultural encounter. The word Schuylkill comes from a Dutch language and it is commonly translated as hidden river. Early Dutch explorers gave this river the name because its mouth was difficult to locate from the larger waterways. It was, in a very literal sense, concealed from view. This seemingly simple label captures a moment of first contact between the European explorers and the natural landscape they were attempting to understand. However, the story does not begin with the Dutch. Long before the Dutch arrived, indigenous people lived in and moved through this region, developing their own relationships with the land and the waterways. For these communities, the river was not hidden at all. It was known and a vital part of daily life. The Dutch name, therefore, reflects not an absolute truth, but a particular perspective shaped by unfamiliarity and exploration. As European settlement expanded, the name Schuylkill persisted. Over time, it became attached not only to the river, but to the surrounding region. When Schuylkill County was officially established in 1811, the name was carried forward, embedding this early linguistic encounter into an identity of the county itself. In the 19th century, Schuylkill County grew rapidly, driven largely by the coal industry. The region became a major center for the anthracite coal production, drawing workers, families, and communities into the area. Towns developed along the transportation routes, many which followed the natural path of the river. In this way, the Schuylkill River continued to shape the economic and social life of the region even as its original meaning faded from everyday awareness. Today, the name Schuylkill remains everywhere, on signs, in government institutions, and in the identity of the region. Yet its origins are not always visible. This is where public history plays a critical role. Public history is concerned with how the past is preserved, interpreted, and presented to the public. In Schuylkill County, this work is carried out by a variety of institutions and efforts that seek to make local history accessible and meaningful. One important example is the Schuylkill County Historical Society. Organizations like this collect, preserve, and share historical materials that documents the region's past. Through archives, exhibits, and educational programs, they help connect residents and visitors with the deeper history behind the familiar names and places. Historical markers also play a significant role in preserving public memory. Scattered throughout the county, these markers highlight important sites, events, and figures. While they may not always explain the origin of the name Schuylkill directly, they contribute to a broader understanding of the region's historical landscape. In addition to physical markers, the landscape itself serves as a form of historical preservation. The Schuylkill River continues to flow through the country, much as it did centuries ago. Parks, trails, and conservation areas now provide opportunities for the people to engage with the river in new ways. These spaces transform the river from purely economic resources into a site of recreation, reflection, and historical interpretation. Digital media has also expanded the reach of public history. Websites, online archives, and virtual exhibits allow people to explore the history of Schuylkill County from anywhere. These platforms make it possible to access historical documents, photographs, and narratives that might otherwise remain hidden, echoing in some ways the original meaning of the river's name. The preservation of local history is not just about maintaining records of the past, it is also about how shaping the communities and how they understand themselves in the present. Names like Schuylkill carry stories, even when those stories are not immediately visible. By uncovering and sharing these stories, public historians help ensure that the past remains a living part of the community. Understanding the name Schuylkill encourages us to think more critically about the places we inhabit. It reminds us that names are not arbitrary. They are products of historical moments, cultural encounters, and human interpretation. It is, in this case, a Dutch description of a hidden river became the defining label for an entire region. At the same time, this history invites us to consider what has been overlooked or obscured. The indigenous presence that predates the Dutch naming is an essential part of the story, even if it is less visible in the modern landscape. Public history has the potential to bring these perspectives forward, creating a more complete and inclusive understanding of the past. Ultimately, the story of Schuylkill County is not just about a name. It is about the layers of history that give the name meaning. It is about exploration and settlement, industry and community, memory and preservation. The next time you see the name Schuylkill on a sign, a map, or a document, it may no longer seem quite so ordinary. Instead, it can serve as a reminder of a hidden river and the many histories that continue to flow beneath the surface of everyday life. In this way, the work of public history ensures that even the most familiar names can reveal something new.